Well, good afternoon, everyone. I just want to welcome you to our Leadership Now series. And for those of you with this is your first time joining us, the reason why we started this is to really create this community of thought leaders, of role models, of mentors, of teachers, of people out there who are making a difference to help give us tips and tools within this crazy time. And not just this crazy time, whether it's with our business, our communities, our family, there's always areas that we can learn and grow. And at Driven Leadership, we are passionate about helping people level up to become their very best. And so if you have missed any of our previous webinar series, you can go to our website, drivenleadership.com, and you can see the last webinar that we did, and then it actually connects you to our YouTube channel as well. We would love it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that way you'll get any of the webinars that you've missed. And before we jump into Adam, next week we have Tiffany Shimmick. She is the Senior Vice President of Just Food for Dogs. And it's amazing what she's talking about is pivotal leadership. Before this pandemic, her company was growing at a crazy rate, and they were opening stores nationally every week. And she had to literally stop. Talk about pivot in the moment. How does she help people thrive, not just survive in the craziness? And so she gets to give us tips and tools of what it means to pivot and how to create results in our business and our life. So Adam Lynds, I am so excited to have you here. So thank you so much for coming on. I know that you were kind of, when we talked, I said, I would love to have you. And you're like, okay, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but I'm game.
Absolutely.
You and I met, and I can't believe it's been 6 months ago.
Has it really?
It has been 6 months ago. So you were in Bold in November with my all-guy class. And what I remembered about you is just you had this hunger just to learn, to grow, to be your best. And you were so open to feedback. And it was just like this authentic transparency of how you showed up. And that's what Paul Kuiper, he even said that about you before you came. He goes, I can't wait for you to meet Adam. And so I would love, as we jump in here, I know that you're married, you have 4 kids. Your first ones were twins, so way to start off with an immediate family. You are the owner and co-founder, CEO, founder and CEO of RX Comfort, and you're out of Michigan. So the craziness of Michigan. And you also have a lot of leadership roles within your church. So you have a lot going on. And
yeah, life is busy for sure.
So I'd love to, so tell us your story. Like, how did you get involved with RX? And I know you're talking about the power of human connection. So how does this even tie all together?
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me, Mary. First of all, hi, Internet. How are you guys doing? Thank you for joining us today. So with my story, it all started out, let me, hold on, your panelist is up here. Close that. Okay, so I started RX Comfort, let's see, August will be about 8 years back. I've been in the HVAC industry for quite a while. I was the first big kid job I ever had, and that was thanks to my dad, and I think he's watching. Thanks, Dad. One of his friends was a supervisor, field supervisor, one of the big commercial HVAC companies here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I was, at the time, was young, engaged, and was getting ready to settle down, getting ready to propose my wife and start a family. And my dad pulled me aside and he says, you need a big kid job. And I got you one. My friend Bob's going to give you a position as a greenhorn at Quality Air. I was like, awesome. I had no idea what HVAC was. I was slicing bagels at a bagel shop and when I got that call. So I jumped in and I learned commercial HVAC install, hanging pipe, fitting pipe, hanging duct, carrying boss's tools, just getting exposed to everything. And I realized I love this. I'm really good at this. My mom tells me stories about I was disassembling the VCR when I was like 5 years old. The first time I found a Phillips head screwdriver in the drawer, I'd find every Phillips head screw in the house and take it out.
You were one of those kids.
Oh yeah, I love building stuff. I got to figure out how it works. How does it work? And so I moved through Quality Air, ended up getting an invitation to come work for a residential HVAC company. and it came with a buck, a truck, and a phone. And so I left. And so I jumped around and ended up working with a friend that I'd been a part of a few different HVAC companies with him, and we decided we can do this better because I saw the old guard, the service, plumbers, electricians, and tin knockers. And I just felt like we can do this better. There's a better way to do this. Let's roll out the red carpet. Let's make our customers feel special. Let's educate them. Like, no, you don't want to educate. If they know too much, then blah, blah, blah. But I just had a passion for teaching people, because when I learned the subject matter, it was so exciting to teach it to somebody else, because I said, this is amazing. And knowing how something works gives you the ability to make better decisions. When you have all the information, you can count on making more solid decisions. So collecting information has become a hobby. It's been part of my DNA. I love reading books. I love learning new things. I love meeting new people who know things that I don't know. I never know when my interest is going to be piqued by something new, but when it does, all hands on deck.
Right.
Yeah.
Look out.
Yeah. Fire on all cylinders. Let's go absorb as much information as possible about this so that we can put it to good use. So anyway, we said we can do it better, and we did it. I told my wife we had two newborn kids, and I said, I'm going to quit my job and start a company.
Wow.
And she looked at me like I was crazy, and then said, okay, let's do it.
Wow.
And she supported me so much ever since the very beginning. And so we launched RX Comfort, me and one other guy, and we just kind of made it go. And it's been, like I said, 8 years ago now. We grew to about 8 guys, and then back down to a few, and then we got big and small and big and small. And then my partner left. He went to go do his own thing. It's like, this isn't working out. We had a vision. We wanted to build a company, build the infrastructure to be a major player in our market. And then he came to me one day and he's like, no, let's go our separate ways. Let's shut down RX Comfort. We'll just cut everything in half and go our separate ways. I just want to be a guy in a truck doing my own thing. And I was like, it's not the plan. And so we went through a whole big messy ordeal of me absorbing sole propriety of RX Comfort. And then I actually ran the company alone for 18 months.
Wow. So you started from scratch again.
Started from scratch all over again. And that was really like the new beginning. And I had no idea what I was doing. It was a lot of time alone thinking. And I started some self-destructive behavior, just alone and struggling. And I got to a breaking point, and I was like, something needs to change. I can't do this by myself. I don't want to do this by myself. And I had been looking for help, but finding qualified service techs in this market is like impossible. There's a lot of really strong HVAC companies in the West Michigan market, and all the good guys have what we call golden handcuffs. Even if they don't like their jobs, they're making too much to quit because their employers know how much they're worth. So I'm on my knees praying. I'm begging God for a solution. I don't want to do this by myself. I'm no longer having fun. All the excitement of learning something new, it was now just, it was slowly killing me every single day. And so I called my wife. I'm like, I can't do this by myself anymore. What do I do? She goes, well, hire somebody. I'm like, I've tried. I don't know who to hire. She's like, I'm sure you'll figure it out. And then I was praying about it, and I got this prompting, and it said, Keith Gregory. You know Keith.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, Keith? He was like, Keith Gregory? That makes no sense at all. This guy works in logistics. He's in a cubicle routing semi-trucks. What does he know about heating and cooling? And I dismissed it, and then immediately I was like, no, Keith Gregory. I hesitated no more. I was like, okay. So I picked up my phone and I texted, hey man, what's it going to take for you to quit your job and come work with me? And his response was, you've got to be kidding me. You're pulling my leg, right? This is everything I hoped and dreamed of, and I'm not happy where I am, and I need a change, but you're kidding, right? I was like, no, let's do it. So he did a ride along with me, and we ended up and kind of like a working interview. he said, I love it. And we gave it a shot. And so he left a career of 9, 12 years, something like that, a long time. He had been with this company, and he decided to come over, and that's when things changed. So we're going to start talking about the power of human connection. I'm going to tell you how I met Keith Gregory and why he popped up in the back of my head. I volunteer a lot with the church. We have something at our church called Discovery Village, and it's our elementary program. We have a big church. We have 4 campuses, and we do a summer camp. We have a summer camp where like 1,000 kids show up. It's ridiculous. And I volunteer to be a camp counselor in one of the cabins. I get a cabin full of 4th grade boys and 5th grade boys, and it's a riot. And I met another camp counselor, and we met on the bus on the way to camp when I heard someone doing Keith does voices, if you know him, but he was doing one of the voices from the movie The Princess Bride. You remember The Princess Bride?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you told me to go back to the beginning or something like that. And then we started going back and forth quoting the Princess Bride quotes, just talking about movies and funny and doing voices back and forth. We just hit it off, and it was really fun. I was like, he's a great guy. He'll have fun with his campers. And then over the course of camp, we got to talking. What do you do? What do you do? And I told him, well, currently I'm neglecting all my customers because I'm at summer camp. And he asked me about HVAC, and I told him about it. He's like, that sounds amazing and interesting. And that's probably what put 2 and 2 together. But so that's how we brought on Keith, and then we brought on Paul Kuiper. And oh my gosh, we've tripled in size since then. This past weekend, it's been hot here in Michigan, 80s, 90s, humid, and we exploded.
Wow.
So,
well, and that was just, 9 months ago when you brought on Paul? 9?
Correct.
Just so much growth has happened within this 9 months. And I remember you coming out of Bold and Eric went out and sat down with you all, and things, you just getting clear on your vision, clear on your direction, clear on the values, making sure everyone is in their roles, and things are just humming. And then COVID hits, the pandemic hits. And in Michigan, you're one of the states that there's so much controversy, and it's a hot spot, and things got shut down. So how do you manage through talk about the power of connection when you have different values, different belief systems? What are you doing to manage through that?
So when the whole pandemic hit and we got the order, stay home, in Michigan, they call it the stay home, stay safe order, came down, and we were kind of like, what do we do? What does this look like? There was a lot of research, like I said, I like to do. So we read a ton of the stuff, and we realized quickly, okay, so we are going to be considered essential, but overnight the phones just dried up. They stopped ringing. We got pulled off construction sites, construction shut down. And we were kind of like, well, people aren't going to stop needing climate control in their homes and in their businesses, the heating and cooling. And so we're like, okay, we are essential, but what do we do? How are we going to move forward? People aren't going to let us into their homes. And so we had a big brainstorming session, and we decided, hey, let's take to social media. And Keith spearheaded the efforts of RX Comfort in this pandemic stage, where we started making video content and inviting people and breaking down all the questions of, is it safe? Is it not safe? There's footage of me on our Facebook page in like a full bodysuit, Tyvek, hazmat gear. Like, if this is what you need to be comfortable to have us come serve you, let us at it. We want to make sure that your needs are met. We'll bend over backwards to do that. And we just started flooding our Facebook and flooding our Instagram, email blasts, just letting everybody know, hey, we're open, we're into this. And if you're uncomfortable, we started doing virtual estimates, Zoom calls, FaceTiming with customers.
Just walking through people's houses and having them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it was a riot. I got a little old lady, and I'm telling her how to use FaceTime. She's never used it before. I'm like, all right, press the little button on your screen to turn it around, because I could just see it up her nose the whole time as she's walking me through the house. I'm like, turn it around so I can see what you're seeing. And it was a bit of a learning curve, but it turned out to be really fun. And now it's turned into one of the standard practices we have. Paul's in the back room right now, and he's got 6 or 7 estimates he's doing today. None of them want him to go to their home, but it's, you know, phone calls, pictures, and we're able to get really close. We're able to actually, because of this, we've now got new systems in place to work covering bigger volumes of estimates. We have less people doing more work because the pandemic has forced us to operate outside of how we were and find new pathways to do the same things. Some of them are better. They really are.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how in times of adversity, in times of challenge, if we're willing to pivot, if we're willing to look at things through different lens, we will see so many different answers.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that. So one of my biggest things is, and I use this for, I talk to my leadership team about this. My friends, they'll always, it's Adam's move, and it's this. It's just the open hands, and it's, we do things that we aren't even aware that we've got a white knuckle grip on.
Yeah.
You know, from the time you were 5, 6 years old, you made decisions and you made vows with yourself that you're not even aware of. And to this day, most of us are walking around with this stuff that we think we've got figured out. We think we've got it lit, but we really got a white knuckle grip on it. And until you're willing to let go of that and then just reopen your eyes again, you're not going to see it. You need to be flexible. And it was the same reason I started the company, is because I've got, you know, 55-year-old plumbers, and this is back in my early 20s. These guys were, you know, the old guard, and they're like, this is how we do it. It's worked this way for 30 years. There's no reason to change it. Until the world you're operating in turns upside down. And now all of a sudden your systems don't work. So being flexible is, I think it's part and part with being able to survive in any market. The most flexible will be the first to succeed in a changed market, in a different world.
It's a growth mindset. It's an open mindset. You know, there's that book out by Carol DeWitt that talks about mindset, and there's there's the growth, and that's the person who's looking for the lesson. They're willing to take the feedback. It's not happening to me, it's happening for me. And what can I do? What can I do? How can I learn and grow? And then there's the fixed mindset, where it's the blaming, frustration. Look what's happened. It's happening to me, not for me. And we get stuck. And it's in that mindset. And you have such a growth mindset, Adam, that you're willing and you're able to pivot. You know, the thing though that I have a question, knowing how hungry you are to learn and to dissect, does that ever get you in trouble or stuck with connections? With the connection with someone else, especially if they see something different from you?
Yes, absolutely.
It's like, you're going to ask me this question?
I have what some people would call like I can be pretty polarizing, because when I speak with conviction, but I'm not going to speak unless I am convicted about it. Because I'll also be the first person to say, I don't know. I have no idea the answer to your question, but you can guarantee that I will not rest until I know the answer to that question. If I can't figure it out, I'll find someone who can. But your question was, has my desire to have like a growth mindset caused conflict with other people? Yeah, that's why I ended up leaving a lot of the HVAC companies I was with. Because I would point to problems and I'm like, this is a simple solution. We need to change this and move in this direction. And it's just the discomfort of doing something new and doing something different is very unsettling for a lot of people. When they see someone who's ready to go dive into it and run after it, it's intimidating. And a lot of times you can get excluded, you get pushed away or even pushed out because an ambition mindset, a growth mindset, wanting to come into something, get your fingers in everything and then start changing things, that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. But that's where the communication comes in, and that's where that human connection comes in, is when you're able to communicate your desires, communicate what your convictions are. So like, I don't just want to change this because I think my way is better than your way. If your way is better than my way, shoot me the brass tacks. Show me the facts. Put it on paper. If your way is better than my way, your way is now going to be my way. I will change mine to match yours. And I just want the opportunity to like I don't want to come in and change things for the sake of we're doing it the Adam way. No, I want to do it the best way.
Best way.
And to find the best way, you have to constantly be probing, constantly be shifting, examining and scanning at all times, because new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking will present themselves when you least expect it. They're gonna present themselves in conversations with people you never thought would have anything to add to the conversation. People that maybe you've counted out, or you've decided that, I've heard what they have to say on a lot of topics, and I'm not even going to give you a chance on this topic because I've already decided my opinions are probably better than yours. You can't do that, because that person's going to be a dark horse, and they're going to have an idea that could shift something, and who knows what the repercussions of that could end up being. You could change the way you do business. Like when the guys in the office started talking about doing more on social media and this, that, and they're throwing out these ideas of, oh no, we could do this, we could do this and this. There was a point where I was kind of like, no, I don't know about that. And it was just me. It was my personal hiccups getting in the way, my scruples. But then we tried a bunch of this stuff and the feedback was insane. So
you actually went into the community from what Keith said, and you guys were interviewing just different businesses in the community, right? And bringing them into your Facebook Lives to help promote business for that.
business to business interactions. So we have another company, funny, they're called Roof Doctor here, and we got the medical shtick too, and we got our little doctor on our logo. But he had an initiative called like the Big Give, and during the pandemic and everything like that, everything was closed down, and he's like, listen, I'm going to be doing free roof repairs during this thing.
Jeez.
And we were part of a business group with him, and we're like, you know what, let's get on board with that. I mean, we can't be giving away furnaces and air conditioners, but what can we do? And so we tried to build a platform to where we started collecting the needs of the community, not just businesses, but individuals. Like, what do you need? We actually had someone reach out to us and said, hey, we're stuck at home. We've got a special needs daughter. We've got situations to where we're stuck in our house. We don't have access to this. We're running out of money. We need help. We don't know who to ask. And we were able to make a delivery of diapers and gift cards. And we actually got this little fire truck that lights up, because we were going to get like noise canceling headphones, because one of their daughters has like sensory issues. And I think she's on the autism spectrum and was having a really hard time with being stuck in the house with all the siblings and the people, and there was nowhere to go. And all of her sensory resources were closed. And so we were actually able to, we talked to her counselor or her therapist or whoever it was, and they made a recommendation that flashing lights and the sirens can be very soothing, which sounded very counterintuitive to me. But so we went on the Target website. We got her a big fire truck toy that made all kinds of noise. We got to bring this family some stuff, and that was great. But in the community, we made an initiative too, to where if you buy, if you buy a gift card to a local restaurant, we're friends with a bunch of restaurant owners in the area, buy a gift card to a restaurant or buy a service from a company, we're going to match it. We'll go tick for tack, just so that you can try it on us. But then what we want you to do is, spend that amount or get another gift card too. It was just kind of a pay it forward thing, and it ended up taking off. So.
And you talk about the power of human connection. There's so much power in giving. It's the universal law. You can never outgive the giver. And the more we get outside of ourselves, and the more we look at, well, what can I do? It opens it up so much bigger than just us, which allows, and I look at where you're at today. You said that you had 100 calls over the weekend?
Oh gosh, yeah. Paul gave me the rundown. Like, usually if we had like 8 to 10 service calls in a day that keep our crew busy, and we had 75 incoming phone calls, 56 incoming texts. And this is all like Tuesday, and it was like a banner month that we had on Tuesday. And it all came to a head. And I mean, the weather helped out a lot, but yeah.
So, in regards to, when we talk about connection, we know that every single person, they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to have value, they want to be loved. So how do you do that with people that you absolutely don't agree with? Like, you don't see eye to eye, you don't have the same beliefs.
Well, you don't need to. Agreeing with someone isn't a prerequisite to loving someone. And I lean heavily on my faith when it comes to stuff like that, because I'm human and I'm a sinner too, and I get frustrated with annoying people too. But human beings, we were meant to interact with one another, and we were meant to sharpen ourselves on one another. And like I said, maybe someone has a different opinion than you and you've already counted them out, but maybe they have an idea that could change your life. Mm-hmm. And we have to be able to let our guards down. And gratitude's extremely important. The mindset of gratitude can really just tear down walls for people you don't think. Because right now, especially with the political climate, everybody's got a different opinion and everybody's got a strong opinion. And, focusing on what you have in common, even if you don't have a lot in common, we're both humans. We both need love. We both need connection. It's easier to look past. It's easier to look past someone's opinions when you're looking at a person, because choosing love, that's what it comes around to. That's what I'm talking in circles. But it comes down to, it's a choice.
Sure.
You can make a decision to count somebody out before they speak, or you can walk in open and see in what ways you can love that person. And I think that mentality of walking into a conversation not with what can I get out of this. And in the leadership world, that's tough, because when you have like leadership seminars, what you're doing is you're trying to give people tools. What can I get from this? But when it comes to relationships and human connections, it's got to be backwards. It has to be completely backwards. It's what can I give to this? And instead of going into someone who's got a different opinion, they have nothing for me. Of course they don't. They're a different person. They focus on different things. They have a different value system. But if you think, what can I give to this person? What can I offer this person of myself? Not necessarily like I'm going to pull something out of my pocket and hand it to you, but like, what of myself can I give to you? Hmm. And when you start giving of yourself to the people in your community, to the people you work with, to the people in your home, your family, your kids, if you start just dumping yourself into these people, like, your world changes. My world changed. I turned into a weeping sap of a human being when I started really just letting all that tight gripped anger and opinions, and I let it go. And yeah, I'm a big old teddy bear now, and I just want to help people, and I want to love on people. I want to serve my team so that they can serve the community. I want to teach my installers that, when you're putting in an air conditioner or putting in a furnace, it's so much more than that. Just a smile at the door, helping a homeowner with their groceries as they come in while staying perfectly 6 feet apart, not breathing on anything. It's the little things, just being aware, being open. And when you have a posture of gratitude and you're thankful for what you have, pointing out to other people the thing, telling them what you're thankful for and giving yourself of them, it shifts the dynamic of relationships, and it really pushes people towards positivity. And like you said, people who like to focus on what's happening to me, you can see them coming from a mile away. And a lot of times their ears are not open, because everything is, let me tell you about the thing that happened to me and the thing the person said to me, and woe is me. But I've also heard stories about people who have horrible upbringings and have overcome adversity that I can't even fathom. And they just have a smile plastered on their face, ear to ear. There's something to that. And it's not because their life is better. It's because they're making a choice to be living out of a different set of values.
Absolutely. I heard this morning, actually, I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about connection, and it went right along with what we were talking about. And they said that people want to connect with people, but they only want to connect with people who believe like they believe. Because if they connect with someone who goes against their grain or against their beliefs and values, it actually is that mirror, right? It's the fear. And so they push back. And I love what you said, because even in that's part of human nature, right? We're, as crazy it is, we're actually wired to look at the negative versus the positive. And when we're aware, going, man, what is it about this person? And right now, you're right, the political climate or what's happening, whether it's a face mask on or a face mask off, or let's get in groups, or no, we need to have, abide by the CDC rules, whatever that is. When we are willing to look at what we can give, when we're willing to look at the humanistic side and what their need is, it completely changes everything. Because at the core, when you see that people are afraid, people have the same hopes, same dreams, same fears, yet they want people to come alongside them, whether we agree or not, and go, come on, I got your back. How can we move forward?
No, we're in it together. Something I always liked is the idea that you can't take it with you. This life is, we've got a minute, we got a little bit of time here, we got a couple minutes on Earth to interact with the rest of the humans that have been put here with us. And when you start looking at it like that, it's really amazing. And it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this? And you can either choose to hoard a bunch of money and try and, keep stuff. You can't hang on to stuff.
No.
But like what I like about the whole idea of the power of human connection is all of the greatest things that have ever happened in our world were when people came together. Mm. So, I mean, everything. So, go back to like the Great Pyramids. Like, that wasn't done by a single man. That was people coming together to do something that is now still visible from space. You've got, if you think about your own life, what were the most the most emotions, like the happiest emotions you've ever had? I guarantee they were probably because you were having some kind of connection with another person. Birth of a child, marriage, whatever it is. It's you're sharing a moment with another person. Those are the most powerful ones. And I also bet the deepest pain any of you have ever felt was probably at the hands of a relationship with another person. And so if that doesn't give you the evidence that the importance of having strong connections with other people, I don't know what is, because I could be happy I get a new car. Yay, it's great. But I've had just random conversations with strangers just in passing, in a homeowner's house, doing an estimate, at the mall, waiting in line for food. And then you strike up a conversation, you find a kindred spirit, and you can walk away from a conversation where you feel like you really just matched up with somebody, and you walk away going, wow, that's a really cool person. Of course it's a really cool person. So when you take that mentality and get to know the people that you're closest with, like, I bet there's stuff about your spouses, your children that you don't know. Teach them about you first. Mm. Pour out of yourself. Let them know what you're about, not what you did, not what you have, not what you want, but who you are. And when you start connecting with people like that, you start building infrastructures and foundations that you can build anything on. It doesn't matter what kind of company you're building. You're selling cars, selling dog food, you're selling furnaces and air conditioners. It's all based on people connecting with one another. And when you really know the people that you're talking to and they really know you, it doesn't matter if you're making a buck or you're losing a buck. If there was love and there was a connection and you were able to communicate successfully, that's a win for me at the end of the day.
There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you go with others. And that's exactly what you're talking about. There's a comment up here that says, this guy is amazing. We need him to run for president or write a book. It sounds like you did a 180-degree shift in your leadership style. How did you shift and how long did it take?
When did I shift? The shift probably began, like the big shift in my mentality probably began about I don't know, 6 months before I came out and saw you at Bold, I had a few like of those, those mind-bending moments where you're just sitting there doing an account of what you're doing, what's going on in your life. And I realized that I was hanging on to a lot of anger and a lot of bitterness and a lot of just my crap, my ideas that were just, they weren't important. And it was a very spiritual moment for me. And it was, I was raised in church. I've been religious, quasi-religious most of my life. I had my dark years, we call them, and I went off and partied my brains out and moved across the country and tried to build what Adam could build. And I can tell you what, like when I did that, I got everything I wanted. I was popular. I had all the things that I wanted. I was surrounded by cool people, and I was miserable, like alone and miserable, surrounded by people, alone and miserable. And that's when I really started like taking a closer inventory about what's important to me. And it was the love. It was that love factor. Everything is better when you do it with love. If the heart behind it is pure, then getting yourself hurt isn't scary anymore. And I'm fine if somebody wants to emotionally hurt me, physically hurt me, but if you've got love, it doesn't sting as bad. But the change shifted probably, like I said, about 6 months before I went to Bold, and it was a really hands open moment. I got in a couple big arguments with some people that were very, very close to me, and I got down on my knees and I prayed and I said, I'm done with this. And I said, let's try things your way, God. And I let go of a lot of my stuff. And then I started just listening and being a little bit more aware of wisdom where it came. I was focusing and trying to find understanding, knowledge, wisdom, but I had a new set of ears and a new heart that started receiving this stuff completely differently. And it's really special. Like when you can truly let go of the stuff that your flesh is hanging on to, there's happiness and there's life to be had. And so I would say, find your greater power, whatever that is. Realize that the universe does not revolve around you and that you have so much more to give than you'll ever be able to get. And you can make the world a better place by just pour yourself out on the people around you. Pour yourself out on your community, on your family, on strangers. If you've been hesitant, roll down your window at that highway interpass and throw a $5 to the guy panhandling, and do it with a smile. And don't even bother thinking about what he's going to spend it on. Help a friend, pick up a couch, whatever you got to do. Help a buddy move. And just listen, be open.
Because in that adds value. It's like, I'm seen, I'm heard, someone's paying attention to me. If anyone has any other comments or questions for Adam, you can go ahead and type them in the chat, or you can actually ask them on the question and answer. There's that option too. Adam, as we get ready as we close this, and if anyone has any questions, I just want to ask you the question, what is your biggest lesson in life? What was your biggest lesson?
Life's too short to stay pissed about anything. Don't hang on to anger. I was mad. I was an angry person for a long time. It doesn't pay dividends. The vengeance, the hanging on to but this person hurt me, and I'm going to let that define who I am, and that's never going to happen again, and I'm going to make sure that never happens again. I threw that in the garbage, and I don't have room for it in my life anymore, and I've never looking back.
That's awesome. Your dad says, great job, son.
Thanks, old man.
So, and this might have answered this last question, but if you could leave a message to this world, and this is your platform, what's the message you want to get out?
if you've got something that is burning inside you, don't let one more second go past without leaving it unsaid. Tell the person that you need to tell the thing that you've been thinking. Essentially live without regrets. Don't wait to do it tomorrow, do it now. If you have a conversation, I don't know why, but right now that's coming, it's coming through pretty strong for me, is if you have something that you feel like you need to say to somebody, don't wait, say it. You don't want to, something's going to happen. We never know what's going to happen. You could die tomorrow, and there's something, like I said, that you could have given to somebody else of yourself, your words, your love, your heart, your attitude, your disposition, your outlook, maybe your perspective on something. You don't want to miss the opportunity to say that, and there's no reason why you can't. So if you've got something that you feel like needs to be said to that person, you know who it is, don't wait, just say it.
That's awesome.
That's what I got.
You are so inspiring. I'm gonna do one last poll just for feedback. And I just want to say, Adam, I'm so thankful that you said yes to this. I know Paul said at first you were like, what did I just say yes to? What am I doing? And I agree with the comment that was said. Your heart, you're inspiring, you have a message. And to be able to turn the mess into the message, you're transforming your community, you're transforming your company, you're transforming your family, and you've impacted us. And I just thank you for being you.
Same, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. We are going to upload this on YouTube, and actually Eric splices it in little segments. Sometimes it's hard for people to watch the whole thing, but there's little lessons that go along the way. And again, that's you go to our Driven Leadership website and connect with that. And then next week, again, we have Tiffany Shimmick, the Senior Vice President of Just Food for Dogs, on pivotal leadership. And with that, just have an amazing rest of your week. Again, thank you, Adam. And I can't wait to continue this journey with you.
Absolutely.
So
have a wonderful day, everybody.
Enjoy the heat. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, guys.